I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
My name is Joseph Hurst. I live in Ankeny, Iowa, and I'm a part of the PMBA program. I currently work as the Director of Sales at Stony Creek Hotels in Johnston, Iowa, and I chose the Iowa State MBA program because it just made perfect sense. About 2 years ago, I started this wonderful program, and I couldn't imagine not having done it. What has helped the most balance work, life, school, has been the people I'm in class with. It's great to go through questions, problems, study for tests, and it just makes the whole class so much easier. As a working professional thinking about doing an MBA program, I get night classes aren't everybody's dream. I get after a long day of work, you may not want to go do more, but it's worth it. You're going to learn a lot, not just from the professors in the program, but from the other students. They come from all walks of life. They are from different age groups. They're from different companies. They're from all kinds of different backgrounds. They've got all kinds of different stories. And after 2 years, I've made some of the best friends I've ever made, learned the most I've ever learned, and I can't imagine what we're going to do after we're done.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What is up? Williams and Blum on a Sunday. Yet again, no Williams. He's drinking beer, having fun at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Does he work anymore, or just goes to Vegas and the Ozarks, Christopher?
His work is go drink with the guys at Mechdyne.
I did do that on Friday. That was
Sounded
awesome.
like a fun night on Friday.
That was awesome. Man, I would work for them so fast. Maybe I will someday. We'll see.
I got to make it to one of those parties. They sound like the best.
Again, the place we go, best pizza in the state of Iowa that nobody knows about. But I'm not giving it away because I don't want you guys to go there and then make it crowded for me.
Well, Williams is working, but not in journalism, just modeling. Check out these shirts, man.
Getting ready for Ireland, huh?
And you should too.
I got to get some.
Whoever's watching, whoever's listening,
Yeah.
These shirts are...
Oh, look
this
at
one's based off the Jameson logo.
I like the Forever 2 on the bottom there. That's classy.
These are, these are essential if you're going to Ireland.
Chris looks great. I mean, T's working clearly. We need some different models, though, Jake. We need some different models.
We need Aiden. If Aiden ever comes back from vacation,
where's Aiden?
His 7-week vacation.
We get Jacqueline or just anybody off the street that's not Chris Williams.
Well, the problem with Jacqueline is who takes the photo.
Good point.
If she is not behind the camera.
I think let's just give away some of those on campus, maybe at the Ivy College of Business, and find a marketing major.
So there's 2 essentials if you're going to Ireland.
Yes.
Obviously, get your shirt, cyclonefanatic.com. You can go.
I think you got to order this week, right? Did I read that right?
Yes.
Like, you better, sooner the better, everybody.
Yep. Sooner the better. And then step 2 or step 1, you can go either order. Go to Northwest Bank and convert your money to the Ireland system.
The euro.
The euro.
Got to get some euros. Getting professional advice here. You need some euros. You need some U.S. dollar. But also bring a credit card or 2 just in case.
You can never... And also tell your bank.
Yeah, tell your bank too.
Hopefully it's Northwest Bank. They're anticipating, hopefully, all their clientele going to Ireland.
They great customer service there. Yeah, so if there's an issue, they will reach out. I had an issue happen. They might have added another 0 on a deposit I had on accident, and they let me know that I really don't have that much money in my bank account.
No.
I know.
Dang. Well, means they're doing their job.
Yeah, well, I was hoping they weren't going to catch it, but they did. So.
Well, thanks to Northwest Bank, we're in their studios right now, and the Northwest Bank studios have been traveling all over. They were up in Ames on Thursday, up in Ames again on Friday. We had some basketball availability. We'll get into that in just a second. A little more important, though, we had football media day. And then at the end of today's show, we are going to go game by game and
It's time.
predict. I think that'd be the right word. Predict what we think the point spread will be, or
Yeah, the point
maybe
spread.
just say what we think it should be.
Yep. As of the second. So again, there is going to be some news potentially as soon as tomorrow that could impact the football season for somebody else, and that's Colorado. I don't know if you've been following this, Jake.
Yeah.
Deion's got a press conference with the medical team, which usually isn't a great sign for if you have a press conference with the medical team. Usually not a great sign in general. So we'll see if would that impact the point spread. I mean, probably not, but I do think it impacts Colorado's season, and then honestly, it might take some of the buzz away from them, which could help those going to that game for a lower ticket price. But again, that's just hypotheticals here.
Yeah, it's hard to not think about what it could be. Of course, when you see a headline that it's not just Deion Sanders' press conference,
Right.
It's with a medical team. So obviously, we hope for the best for Coach
For sure.
Prime.
He makes honestly, and this is where I know sometimes Iowa State fans included give the guy a bad rap. He makes this conference way more interesting, and it only helps eyeballs to have that guy around, quite frankly. So I hope it's just hey, I'm good now. I'll be practicing on Tuesday, and because again, Iowa State's a week ahead of everybody. So Iowa State's media day was a week ahead of everybody. So now all these other schools are going to start getting into the stuff Iowa State's in right now, which is full on camp mode.
We are there. We are within the season.
What was your takeaway from media day, Jake?
I think there's a confidence from within the building, and it goes back to this podcast clip that Matt Campbell had about a month ago, where he went on this coach's show down in Texas and talked about what he learned in 2021. And it was his first time going through the gauntlet at Iowa State as the team with the target on their back. And I don't think Iowa State is the only team with the target on their back, but it's them. It's K-State. It's Arizona State. And you could still probably throw Utah in that mix with the pedigree they bring in.
Sure.
And I think this team is ready for it. And I think they believe within those walls that they're just as good, if not better, than last year. And a lot of that, I think, comes from, I mean, this guy on screen right now, Rocco Becht. We'd highly encourage you to be watching on YouTube right now, like, subscribe. But pretty much what Rocco said is, no Jaden, Jalen. We've still got faith that our receiver room is deep this year. And Ben Bramer is going to be healthy. And look what Gabe Burkle did the last month of the season. And that's not to mention the run game that did make strides from 2023 to 2024. So I think that's where the confidence comes from. And that was really what I picked up on. Not a ton of new information from between Big 12 media days and Iowa State media days, but that was the sense that I got.
It's nice on like a year like this year where you pretty much kind of know what most of the two deep is. Caleb Bacon rocking a great mustache, by the way. That's at least all Big 12 honors in that regard.
That's three stacks right there.
but it's just nice that the questions are what I'd say are nerdy questions, other than receivers. I mean, that is a major question that's going to be brought up all in the lead up to K-State. I mean, when you start everyone talks about Iowa State, they go, well, those two guys at the Texans were pretty good, and they absolutely were. You don't just replace 1,000 yards, but I think we've hopefully addressed it on this podcast and just the Fanatic in general. Iowa State doesn't have to replace those guys. They need to replace them in the aggregate, to steal a term. Ben's going to have a better year. So you asked this, and I got a little inside information. I did my homework this week. Unlike Chris, who's going down the Ozarks and having fun, I was digging through my sources. And, Ben broke his leg in that Baylor game, Bramer.
Yep.
But he also was dealing with some other stuff, and that is he had a whooping cough to start the year, which they didn't really say anything about. Again, because Ben played with it, and he had a sports hernia in fall camp. So there's a lot going on for number 18. And he is primed and ready to go. So, again, wish the best health for Ben. I think the world of the guy. And I truly believe between him and you get Burkle producing at that level, which would be hard to do because Burkle was so good the last 4 games of the year. So who had a great catch from Moberly and a highlight. Yep. That's fun to see. And Townsend and those young guys getting better. And yeah, I mean, I think in the aggregate, will you have 2 1,000-yard receivers? Absolutely not. But I do think Rocco's numbers can be similar through the air. That said, I still think the question is, if you can run it, run it. Like, don't even worry about it. And I think in Iowa State's perfect world, Rocco doesn't have to throw it as much, but they still want him to throw it. He's a very good, particularly deep ball thrower. And I thought, was it you or Rob in the article on Daniel Jackson, who is like...
That was Rob. Great article.
It was amazing. It's like, yeah, that guy literally won the Oklahoma State game with 170 yards and 2 touchdowns 2 years ago. He's 23 and a half years old. He's old, which is great, and he's ready to go too. So again, are you replacing Higgins and Knoll? You're not. But I think in the aggregate, you've got enough bodies to put up those numbers between the two of them, and I just think the defense is so much more ready to go from a health standpoint, from a veteran standpoint, than even a year ago. And the schedule's much harder, though, and I think that's what we're getting into today about point spreads, is you could be better, Jake. That doesn't mean you're winning 11 games, though.
Exactly, and I'm not even gonna try and say what word this is. I think it was a Greek word or something like this.
They got a book thing. They got a book term this year.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna say the word because I'll butcher it and I'll look dumb. But essentially, what it means is cheering for your teammates' success.
Here you go.
And there's position battles right now at tight end, wide receiver, linebacker, safety,
2
cornerback,
offensive line spots,
D-line, pretty much everywhere but the quarterback and the running back
and
Jontez Williams.
And the kicker and the punter.
Kicker and punter. Yeah. So the competition level right now, Cooper Ebel, friend of the program, Ebel.
Yeah, that's right.
Told me that he has never seen anything close to like the competition that's going on in the linebackers room right now, because they have so many guys. They have 9 guys that have either started a game or played significant snaps. And you can't play 9 guys in a game. You can play 6, you could play 7, but Colby Cratch, the linebackers coach, and John Haycock are going to have tough decisions to make. And hopefully the players make it easy for them, and that means there's guys that separate themselves from the rest of the pack. But I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Matt said, I think down in Dallas, is a lot of times depth of that position. Well, most your linebackers are mostly your best special teams guys because they can do everything.
Yep.
And so you just make your special teams better at the very least. I think in this, we showed Caleb earlier, that beautiful mustache that Caleb Bacon had. Keep in mind, he got hurt in the second series of the year last year on a special teams play. Well, when you have better special teams players, you don't need to put your all Big 12. Now, I don't know if they will or not. I'm not saying Caleb's not going to play special teams. But the depth of that position a year ago dictated some of those guys weren't ready game 1, so Caleb had to be out there. You don't need to do that this year. And we saw in the worst possible example for a football team is depth matters. And yes, Texas Tech can buy the best starting 22 it takes. You're going to play 100, potentially. So that is where I think Iowa State can really shine here with its depth, is you've got numbers specifically on defense, and we don't know who they are yet, but you know they're capable, and I think that will portend to good things come November. But you hope, and this is my concern with this schedule, Jake, you hope that when it comes to November, you're still in it. Because there's a real world where the way the schedule shapes up that, there's some tough ones early. It starts with game 1, and you don't want to be out of it, once everybody else is in that. Because we're going to have a tiebreaker, guys, like we just are. If Iowa State wants to make the Big 12 championship, it has to be 7-2. I was doing some analytics. Like, there's no other way 6-3 can really get it done. So you got to be 7-2 in conference, which means if you lose that first game, and I'm not saying Iowa State is, but I'm just trying to set expectations here. You can only afford one more conference loss the rest of the way, and plus then you'd lose a tiebreaker to probably a K-State team that's going to be in the middle of it. So I can't dictate enough how important this game is, 4 weeks from now, because it will determine the success. But I think if Iowa State can clear that hurdle, it could open up a little bit for this group.
Back to the linebackers a little bit. We will talk to Colby Cratch on Thursday. So I'm very, very interested for that, because when I was talking to Ebel, again, just a great dude. I probably chatted with him for 5-10 minutes,
Awesome.
and we were talking about fresh legs and what it'll do for the linebackers, to what that can do to maybe get to the quarterback a little easier. And
No doubt.
Fresh is better. And what he also added on top of that was, we've all got different skill sets. So it makes it so much easier for Haycock and Cratch to game plan for the other team when you've got a guy who's maybe better as a quarterback spy, a guy who's better as a pass rusher. And I'm really interested to talk to Cratch on Thursday at what the main strengths of certain guys are. Who do we anticipate to see when it's Avery Johnson, a running quarterback? Mm-hmm. Is it more Zach Lovett, a guy who we've seen in the spiral?
Or Brazino playing a lot more, yeah.
So that was a lot of the stuff I had.
Yeah, I think
out
it's
of Media Day.
Again, nothing really crazy from Media Day, which is great. I mean, there were some years it was like, oh, I didn't know. That's usually not saying oh in the first is like usually not a great thing. And we'll kind of from the sounds of it, which the other really positive thing from Media Day is obviously it's very healthy. It's very healthy, and I think that'll be a story at some point throughout the year. Iowa State made a fairly significant change in its sports medicine program this offseason, and it not anybody's fault, but so far it's been good. I mean, they got a guy, I think, from the NBA. I'm going to butcher that, but Matt talked a little bit about it down in Dallas, and hopefully some of those soft tissue things aren't as much of a problem this year. A lot of that's luck, too. You can't blame a trainer on a soft tissue injury. However, so far so good on the health status. He said there's one guy who's hurt, and that's backup wide receiver Michael Parks. But I think everybody else is healthy, which is
that's still
significant.
from last year.
And that's from last year, yeah. So that's really good. I mean, this year, a year ago at this time, obviously Daniel Jackson was out. Will McLaughlin had a significant back injury. He was probably going to be done. Zach Lovett was hurt. I could go down the list. There was
Willich tore his ACL in the spring.
Yep, great point. You had 6 to 10 guys. At this point, Haysert had injured himself. The big lineman had.
Travis.
Jalen Travis was not healthy. Yep, I forget he got injured the third day of camp. And so far, so good.
Didn't Rocco come in to the year with a shoulder injury? Or
yes, he did.
So it's just totally different right now.
Yeah, and that's good. Now all it takes is knock on practice, and they're hitting hard and all that good stuff. But so far so good. And thank goodness, real quick, for the Bergstrom indoor. I can't imagine being outside. I mean, and that is another thing when you talk about the growth of Iowa State. It sounds really simple because it's been around now for 21 years. But being able to practice inside when the heat index is 108 out, I mean, good grief. That's another tip of the cap to people who have invested in specifically the Bergstroms over the last 40 years in Iowa State football.
Yeah, I think to those sitting at home, and me included sitting at home, this morning was just a reminder when I went out and golfed after a couple bourbons last night that if your hamstring's a little tight or you're and that's golf.
That's golf.
These linebackers, you can do all you can sports medicine wise and nutrition wise, and that's what they do. But they're still 240-pound warriors colliding at full speed. So injuries. A lot of it comes down to luck because
it does.
Everybody has a chance to get injured every single play. And I know that's super, super elementary level talking about football, but sometimes you do just have to take a step back and if I got hit by Cooper Ebel, I'm dead. Or Dom Orange, I'd be lucky to have half my ribs not broken.
If you're dead, what am I? I am flattened. No, and I think that's where obviously its advantage here is, and I say this hopefully nobody gets hurt, but there's going to be injuries, and I think this Iowa State team can weather a lot of that better than pretty much if you talk to the coaches, this is about as 185, about as strong as they've been throughout the program. And what I wonder in this transfer era for those teams that spend a bunch, sometimes by spending a bunch you forget about second and third string. Well, if those expensive guys get hurt, you don't get your money back, so you got to play those guys no matter what. And I think that's the great equalizer in football. And honestly, Iowa State's best recipe for success in this era is depth in what Matt does, and that is play everybody as much as possible. And I can't say enough how important that is from last year taking over to this year to have all those guys with experience. And, I'm just pumped up for this team. All reports are good, and we'll hope the injury bug stays away. And we're 3.5 weeks till we get on a plane to Ireland. Everybody,
Man, I'll be flying out 3 weeks from today.
okay.
Or 3 weeks from tomorrow. I keep forgetting if it's Sunday or Monday. I should probably know that information, but it's
All
coming,
I know,
guys.
It's 5:00 local Dublin time, Saturday, the 23rd. We'll see you there.
I'm working that day. I don't. It's gonna be weird being, because I'll probably be at the pubs all day, but I'm gonna have to be in game
Cyclone
shape.
Fanatic. It's
so-
Cyclone Fanatic. I mean, there's some leniency there. Did I tell you this? I could do the sideline reporting. Ryan Harklaw's got a big VP meeting out somewhere in Exotic, and so they called upon this guy to do the
I'll
sideline
see you down
reporting.
there.
All right, so we'll be on the sideline. I practiced this weekend the flagging Matt Campbell down because watch Matt at the halftime. This guy, like 4.4 speed, trying to get by the sideline reporter. I'm not taking that charge, like that, but maybe I could get a chicken wing out, elbow him. I don't know. I'm trying to think about my plans here.
Could you recruit Colin Newell to help you out?
That's a great idea.
I'm sure Newell will be there, right?
He's expecting a newborn, so I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know if
Remy, maybe?
He and his maybe Remsburg could. I might need a bodyguard down there. That's a great point, Jake. Anybody want to volunteer? Let me know.
I mean, Matt Campbell is a big dude.
He is a big dude.
He played D-end in college.
I think people forget that. I mean, there's a good photo of him and Tyrese.
Yeah.
Tyrese was just hanging out at practice yesterday. How cool is that? And they're about the same height. Matt's a pretty.
Matt's a well-built.
He's lost weight
guy.
though. He's not like. Anyway, I'm not going
He
to.
doesn't look like a D-end anymore. But
I got in trouble, so I emceed the Niang outing, and I was telling an anecdote as MCs do about how ESPN, when George committed to Iowa State, said Niang is a bad body that may only play 20 minutes per game. And so I retold that story, saying, look at George proving everybody wrong like he always has. And then George gets up there and he's like, if Blum ever talks about somebody else's body, then he has gone down the wrong road. I was like, fair enough. Fair enough. So I'm going to stay away from that going forward.
yeah, my point is if you can get Newell or Remsburg,
You got protection.
you might be able to wrangle in
Campbell.
Matt Campbell. And
Wish me
while
luck,
we're at
everybody.
it,
Yeah.
let's thank Colin Newell
My
at
guy.
Farm Bureau Financial Services. Reach out to Colin at 515-964-5354 or Colin with 1L .Newell with 2 L's at fbfs.com. Talk to Newell, obviously, about his day job, and he
Yeah.
can help save you some money, but also talk some shop, talk some football.
Lovely wife, Crystal, purchased a new vehicle recently, and Colin set up that insurance in no time.
And yeah, it was probably as painless as can be.
It was actually really easy. It was like, hey, all right, boom, 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 done.
Yeah, Newell is the best, and I hope to see him in Ireland, but I also probably more so hope for the newborn to come,
Yeah,
and
baby number one on the way for the Newell. So
We'll,
congrats, guys.
we'll drink some Guinness for them if they can't make it to Ireland.
If need be.
We also would like to thank Kelderman Manufacturing. We are currently in the process, and this is why I'm so excited for Aiden to be back. We're in the process of putting together the new Northwest Bank in-person studio,
Yes.
and Kelderman has thrown together some signage for that. So it's going to look great.
Electric. Can't wait to see it.
He can do the same thing for you. If you've got signage that you'd like to throw in your garage, throw in your office, if you have anything that
Honestly,
you need to do
guys,
to your truck, anything that you need to do, Kelderman can do it.
just Google him, look at his YouTube channel, and it'll be inspiring for you gearheads out there of the cool stuff he can do.
Kelderman is, we've
He's one
said
of
it
a kind.
before, he's a
one
man's
of a
man.
kind. He's a man's man.
And if you are in need of maybe becoming like Kelderman, he runs a pretty dang good business. You could go get your degree at the Iowa State University Ivy College of Business. Not just current college students, but also post-grad. You can do it online. You can go in person.
I was talking to a group last week, and they said, honestly, do these guys even go to class anymore? And it was kind of a sarcastic comment, as if like, oh, all they do is you're just playing football and basketball now. I said, actually, how about this for a fact here, listening audience? half of Iowa State's football roster has majors either in the Ivy College of Business or in an engineering degree. Half.
Wow.
Like this is why there's the rest of college football a lot of times, and then it's Iowa State, and these guys aren't taking it lightly. And I mean, there's so many marketing and management and finance majors within the Iowa State football team supply chain. You guys would be very proud of the young people in that program.
Well, how about this? On the men's basketball team, we talked to this new freshman, really cool kid, Jamarion Batemon.
Yes.
He was the valedictorian at his high school.
That's right.
And that comes across when he talks.
How much
He
you like
is
that guy, by the way?
Man.
Can you see why the hype is hyping?
Yeah, I was very glad that we got to talk to him. It was he is going to make an impact. There is no doubt in my mind. Maybe in the classroom, or definitely in the classroom.
Definitely in the classroom.
And most likely as a freshman on the basketball court. From all the sounds of it.
Yeah, we're 6 weeks of pretty good intel that this guy's going to play, and he's going to play a lot. So happy for Jamarion, happy for the program. He's a special kid and a smart kid, but man, he's got that ability. I hesitate, but he's like okay. If you want a comp, can I give you an Iowa State comp for the old timers and the newcomers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Think Mike Taylor meets Curtis Jones.
Oh boy,
how about that?
I like it.
Those are my two comps for seeing Jamarion a couple of times. A little Chris Allen in between there too, but Jamarion can guard you. He will guard you, and I don't know if they I know they chart it. I have to find out. I swear, in the three or four practices I've been to, the guy shot like 75% from three. Like he made everything. And again, that's a small sample size of just my two eyeballs, but happy for Jamarion. I think he's gonna be an instant impact guy for Iowa State.
Well, and he wants to defend.
And he wants to defend.
That was all he talked about at the media availability.
Him and Torrey both.
We got to like question 6 or 7. Like, guys, we haven't talked about offense. Well, like
he can shoot though.
So that's what I was super impressed with. And he talked a little bit about not only the competitiveness and going back and forth with Taman, but he saw what Taman did as a freshman, and he says, well, that's how I got to get on the court.
Yep.
I've got to make the other team miserable. I've got to make the other team's best player miserable.
Yep.
And from all the sounds of it, that is exactly what he's been doing at practice.
Yep. All those
There's a
guys were
reason.
at the Niang charity event Thursday night, and Eric Mulder, the new big guy by way of Fort Wayne via Pella Christian, had a big ol' stitches above one of his eyes, and he caught a bow from Dom Plata.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so he said Dom Plata's elbow won that fight. So practices, as you might imagine, are still pretty physical even in the summer.
Yeah, I got to go to one.
It's you would be. I'm telling you all, you would be terrified because you're like, they're gonna get hurt. I can't watch. That's how I like to watch it. Like, hit, because they go hard.
I think my favorite quote from anything on Thursday was Bateman is like, I'm so ready to be done guarding Taman and being guarded by Killian.
Yeah.
And just wait for a game when we get to take turns on the other team's best player.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm like, that's right.
Great
Like
attitude.
that's going to be able to happen soon.
When
And
is that? When is it November? So Iowa State's going to play Creighton in a scrimmage. Remember, that's for the public consumption.
Yep.
That's over in Omaha.
Yep, and that is November 6th, something like that.
And then Iowa State has Northwestern in Hilton.
Yep. Mississippi State is the season opener. That would
Is
be.
it the season opener?
I thought so. Maybe it's the
up.
second game of the season.
It's up. Yeah, it's the second. No, it's the third game.
Oh, third game. Okay.
So we've got it's all right. Friday, October 17th in Omaha, Creighton. This has changed, everybody. If you're just getting up to speed here, we're now selling tickets to these games. So you can go to Omaha and watch this between Iowa State and Creighton. Then Iowa State hosts Northwestern on Sunday, October 26th. That's in Hilton. And then the first game of the year is Fairleigh Dickinson on Monday, November 3rd. You get you get Grambling State on November 6th, which is a Thursday, and then Sioux Falls, Mississippi State, the first real test on November 10th, which is a Monday.
Okay.
And then we play Iowa State plays Stonehill College. Have you ever heard of Stonehill College?
I've not. No,
I haven't. I really haven't.
That sounds like a college that really, really smart people would go to.
It's in Easton, Massachusetts.
Yeah, that adds up. Those poor point guards.
It's like the Charles Barkley quote back in the Dream Team in '92, before your time. He said, "I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble." Insert Stonehill for Angola.
It's probably cruel, but I absolutely love those early season games.
The other guards are just terrified. Like
I don't like the ones in between the Cyhawk game and Big 12 play because I'm just ready. I'm just ready for the real games to start up again. But those first 4 or 5 of the year, where Taman can have 7 steals if he wants them, and Milan can get a shot up at any point. It's fun to watch, but you also just feel sick for the other team.
Yeah, apparently Stonehill's been around a little bit.
I've never heard. I swear I've heard of every single D1 college.
NEAC, anyway. They play in the same conference, Northeastern Conference. Yeah, they're in the same conference as Fairleigh Dickinson.
Okay.
So we got some Northeast Conference action early at Hilton.
And I'm sure that they will not just be playing one game in the Midwest. They're probably
going
to get their butts kicked in 10 different cities in the Midwest.
Way to go, Stonehill. Proud of you guys.
Well, shall we get into this point spread?
Yes. I can't wait.
First, thanks to the Iowa State University Foundation. Go support what you value at Iowa State. Could be the marching band, could be literally any part of Iowa State that has made an impact on you.
Okay.
Iowa State Foundation, movewhatmatters.com.
Nerdy comment, but again, I'm 40 now, so I think about these things. This is not political, but I'm just telling everybody, the new bill that passed, a.k.a. the Big Beautiful Bill, has some significant tax ramifications in regards to charitable dollars. So talk with your tax advisor, your charitable people. There is some significant advantage now to potentially utilizing more of your charitable dollars through something like the Iowa State Foundation, which, by the way, now you can help with We Will through the foundation as well. I just want to put that out there. Check with them, read up on that, and again, don't let the government have your money. Let Iowa State, I guess. I mean, because that's something that means something to you.
Let Iowa State have your money, and
not the government.
Hope some way that funnels into quarterback one Rocco Beck's pockets.
Hey, honestly, do you want the government, or do you want to have a top 25 football program and a top 20 bat? If you're listening to this, I know that answer.
That's the easiest question I've ever been asked.
Look it up.
Let's get into this schedule.
Yes.
So, K-State's probably cheating because we already have a line.
It's 3 points, right?
Yep. I just 3 points, K-State.
I saw the over-under at 49, which I think is probably about where I'd have it.
Yeah. 3 is probably right.
Yeah, that's K-State's here's why K-State's favored, in my opinion. They are favored to win the conference. Iowa State's beaten them 2 years in a row. I think they're betting on, this series has been pretty even. K-State returns a bunch. They're very high on their group, by the way. Very, very high on their group.
Yep.
So I wouldn't – that's basically – anything 3 or less is basically like, we're not really sure. But they're going to give K-State the benefit of the doubt for that first game for the revenge factor.
Well, also, it's technically a home game for them.
Yeah.
Which, this is going to sound dumb because that shouldn't matter. It's a neutral site game. But there is 25% of sports bettors, maybe more, that will click on Circa, that'll click on DraftKings, and they'll see K-State on the bottom. And, all right, that's our home team.
True.
And that's dumb. But I'm guessing that has to play at least a slight factor in the sports books.
But the lights in Vegas aren't free, so they got to get it from somewhere.
Yep. South Dakota, this is where it gets fun.
Yes.
I know you told me you were pulling up some numbers. Do you have
I do.
the numbers of Iowa State's previous FCS opponents?
Yeah. So last I'll just pick on last year because for both of them. All right.
It should be pretty comparable.
Actually, I got the last 2 years for Iowa State. Last year, 30.5-point favorite over North Dakota in the opener. UNI in 23 was 20.5. The South Dakota Yotes did play at Wisconsin in week 2 a season ago, and it was 21.5. Jake, now
that's right around where I was going to.
They only lost by 14, I believe, that game to Wisconsin. So I'm going to go 21.5 here. I'm going to guess we're about the same.
Yeah, that when you said 30.5, I had to jump a little bit. That's not happening. 20.5 against UNI a couple years ago. That sounds a little more right, especially when you factor in how Iowa State's approached these games lately.
Sure.
They could completely dominate and win a 24-3 game. Like, that would not shock me at all.
And South Dakota is very good.
Yeah.
This team made it deep in
Final
the playoffs.
Four last year.
Lost to Montana State in the semi 27-13 over in Bozeman. So they're a quality program, return a lot. Yeah, I think this thing, if it gets above 21 points, 3 touchdowns, I would be surprised. I think it's 3 touchdowns or less here.
There is also the Ireland factor that we've hit on.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the first. I want to make this clear. It's the first game for South Dakota.
Yeah, so they'll definitely
bring
be
people,
more fresh.
and they're gonna bring a lot of people. I was shocked, Jake. I was up in Minneapolis this weekend. Took my oldest to his first Major League Baseball game, and it was South Dakota State night at the Minnesota Twins game. And I had 2 thoughts.
Really?
2 thoughts. Number one, we need to have an Iowa State night at a Twins game. I mean, come on now, let's work on that. It's already in my idea. If you Twin Cities clones are interested in that, let me know. We can start working on that. And then secondly, they have a lot of people up there. I mean, there were well, they're not the Yotes, they're the Jacks. There are people yelling "Go Jacks" all over the place. So they travel well, I guess is my point, and they will have plenty of people in Ames for that game on 8:30.
Got to make a note to myself. We get to talk to TJ one more time before. I mean, honestly, probably before basketball season starts.
Yeah.
We got to ask him his thoughts on his personal rivalry with South Dakota. He's a Jackrabbit.
That's a good point.
That's going to be a big day for TJ.
We got win one for TJ. Yeah. They did not get along great. So again, small world, and this is when you're the old guy when you can make all these connections. But TJ's biggest rival there was South Dakota, and their coach was Craig Smith, who just got fired at Utah. Where did he go? Where did Craig Smith end up?
Oh, I saw this. Oh, I should know.
So he was one, honestly, when Iowa State hired TJ, he was probably again, Iowa State didn't really look at anybody else but TJ. However, Craig Smith would have been a natural next option. And from what I could see, he did not end up anywhere else yet. Probably enjoying that buyout a little bit, Craig Smith.
Well, I know he was floated around a little bit over at the team out east, but
yes, yeah,
they went
for
in
sure.
a different
They
direction.
went a different direction.
Anyways, back to football. Speaking of the team out east, the Cyhawk game.
Is this a line out anywhere?
I
think it is somewhere.
I would guess it is. Let me pull it up on a undisclosed sports betting app that does not help out Cyclone Fanatic.
I mean,
I want to say I saw it early in the.
Yeah, here we go. I got it. Well,
way
no,
back
that's
in the
K-State game. No, I don't have it. I saw an early line at one point. I mean, you're looking at this game is going to be 2 points either way. Honestly, guys, it's going to dictate how Iowa State does against K-State. If Iowa State beats K-State in Ireland, Iowa State's going to be a 3 to 5 point favorite. If Iowa State loses to K-State in Ireland, I think Iowa will probably be a pick 'em to a 3 point favorite. I'm looking at that game to dictate what the game will be, but I'm just going to take the easy way out and just say Iowa State's a 2 point favorite.
It is 1.5 point favorites right now. Iowa State at home on an undisclosed sports betting app. So yeah, it's
you were-
always going to be within a field goal.
So if we were playing guess the point spread, that would be a win for me. Just
Yep.
FYI. Okay.
Yep, you get the point right there. So, do you agree? Would you set it?
Yeah, I mean, home team. I mean, it's a pick'em game to me. Home team gets a little bit of advantage, but it really hasn't mattered in this series. Quite frankly, we all know that. I'm flipping the coin always. I mean, I think on the baseline, in my opinion, Iowa State returns a little bit more known commodities at some significant positions, i.e. the quarterback. I think the Gronowski kid could be pretty good. I think the Iowa offensive line could be really good. They did lose Caleb Johnson. Defensively, they've got some bodies, but they lost some guys there too. I mean, if I'm Iowa, I have concerns, quite frankly. I'm just trying to be neutral observer here. They did not have a great defensive year, and they lost a bunch of guys off that defense. So maybe their new guys are better, but that's a big step for them. Yeah, I think that point spread should be right around a pick 'em to 3 for Iowa State.
I'm gonna probably make a lot of people mad that saw me as a bipartisan sports reporter for the last 3 years.
Yes, of course you were. Yeah.
I can't speak for like 10 plus years ago. And of course, Phil Parker, he's one of the best in the business. They've got one of the best defenses in the country year in, year out. I have no doubt.
Except for last year.
But what is one of the best? Are they top 15? Because I think whenever they've been thrown around as they're probably the best defense in the country. Are they, or were they playing Northwestern, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin week in, week out? That's where I think
It's a fair question.
I think it's unproven yet, and I'm not sold that maybe their defense wasn't great last year because they've played offenses that threw the ball 15 plus yards downfield.
Another fair point. And
like UCLA made them look like a Paul Rhodes defense. We love Paul, but maybe UCLA wasn't a great offense, but they're better than Northwestern, and maybe Iowa's defense was built to stop teams that played pretty similar to them.
Yeah, and we also know the history that Iowa State has not beaten Iowa in Jack Trice until 2011.
Yep.
I'm not ignoring that. I'm past the point of smack talking this game. I think it'll be a great game. It's the atmosphere is electric, almost to the point of unhealthy electric.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens, but I think that's a field goal either way, no question.
Yep. We'll put it at 1.5.
Yeah.
Arkansas State. This one's interesting.
Yeah. So last year Iowa State beats these guys 52-7. And
35-0 at halftime.
It was not a close game at all. Iowa State entered as a 20.5 point favorite, Jake. Now,
16.5.
They down there, okay. Yeah. So this is where, and then they went on to go to a bowl game. They went on to a bowl game, and I think they beat Bowling Green, which doesn't say a whole lot. But they're decent at home. From what I have understood, we talked about on this pod, like Jonesboro's pretty electric for a football game day. I think they're going to be ready to go. I like that number we just said. I think this is 15-17 for Iowa State, but this is one where it's one of those games where you turn on, you're like, what is Iowa State doing in Jonesboro, and why is the game close? I mean that's where, if history tells us anything. So yeah, I would put this 14-17 anywhere in there.
Yeah, if it was 20.5 last year, you'd think the home field would swing it probably 5 points.
Yes.
So 15.5, we'll put it there. But man, I would not touch that.
I am looking forward to that game. I think this could get away from Arkansas State. Like, I think Iowa State could win it again, 52-7. But we're not too far removed from the Ohio game, and don't need to say more.
Well, they also, if you look at the game last year, Iowa State played terrible in the first quarter. Terrible. And they were still up 35-0 at halftime. That was a weird game.
That was a weird game.
Rocco was having some extreme accuracy issues in the first quarter, and then they just overpowered him. The defense,
but their quarterback
could do turnovers.
The quarterback could do nothing. Rayner, and I think he's back. I think Rayner's back, by the way. Of note, for everybody out there, they do go to Arkansas the week before, so
that is
notable.
Yeah, that's
an
certainly
emotional game
notable.
clearly for them, and then they're coming back and playing Iowa State on the 13th. So, yeah, I think that's I would say first blush, I say 15.5 for me.
Okay, 15.5. So we move in or back into Big 12 play now.
Yep.
This will be the second game. Arizona at home. If I had to guess, this is, looking at the schedule, the only point spread that'll be double
Over 10.
digits, probably.
I think so. I got
maybe argue the BYU game. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe the BYU game, but we'll see what the quarterback situation is at that point. Got some intel. I got an insider at Arizona, kind of, and they feel a lot better about this team, which I found interesting because they said last year the coach, get a new coach last year, was so worried about being a disciplinarian because he thought he might upset the players and have them transfer that he was way too lax in the spring, summer, etc. Because he wanted to keep the group together, and I don't blame him for that. I mean, you had McMillan, Fertitta, all those guys, or Fafita. I mean, some high level guys. Well, turns out you still need to coach your team. You can't just let them run the asylum here. And they think this year everyone's more bought in. They may not have the advertised talent, but they feel better about their group than they did a year ago. However, they're still rebuilding there in Arizona. I think this is probably 12.5. I'll put 12.5 to start.
That was the exact number that I was thinking of. They brought in pretty much an all-new offense around Noah Fafita.
Yeah.
They have 11 newcomers on the offensive line.
Sheesh. Okay. Well,
5 transfers, 6 freshmen. So that
interestingly,
I'm not a big Brent Brennan guy. Well, I'll say that much.
Well, so of note, both teams have a bye week the week before, and so we'll kind of have a reset around that 20th to figure out what do we got here. Arizona does play K-State, and I believe that's the non-conference game on the 13th, the same day Iowa State goes to Jonesboro. So they'll have already played a pretty well-known Big 12 commodity. That point spread, depending on that game, depending on how Iowa State does against K-State and Iowa, could drop below 10 as well.
So we moved to Cincinnati. Tough spot. I think I'm not a Scott Satterfield guy, but I might be becoming a little bit bullish on Cincy.
Okay.
But again, they're a team that they've disappointed pretty much every single year in the Big 12 already.
They really have. I mean, they're 2 years in, but they have not.
They lost their last 5 games last season, but they do bring back Brendan Sorsby, who I think is a really underrated quarterback. He didn't finish the year strong at all last year. They also bring in 3 new receivers, which is probably their biggest position of need in the entire conference. And they've got a decent defense. Their D lineman, Corleone, the Godfather, is incredible.
Is he back?
He's back. Yep.
Jeez.
But get this. They lost pretty much their entire defensive backfield, which was a big strength of their defense. They lost 3 guys to the portal, 2 to the NFL draft. This is not a Cincinnati preview. I've got all these written out for.
No, I love it. This is great.
I've got it up.
Yeah.
With that being said, this is probably 5.5 Iowa State.
Yeah, that's a good. So, a couple entry notes here, just to put some context. Cincinnati plays Nebraska at Arrowhead, first game of the year,
open the year,
that'll tell us a lot for both programs. Like, I've never been a bigger Cincinnati fan than in that moment. By the way, take that, Matt Rule.
Go get it, Coach Veit.
Come on, Veit. Let's figure it out. Context otherwise, 2023 Iowa State went to Cincinnati. I was there. Really great time. Highly recommend
Incredible
that
win.
road trip. Yeah. Iowa State was a 3.5-point favorite, won by a bunch. I think they ended up winning by 24, 27.
Yeah, they
it was
just
not
dominated them.
And then last year, this surprised me. I just looked this up. Iowa State closed as only a 7-point favorite against Cincinnati. Now, keep in mind, Iowa State was coming off those 2 brutal losses to Tech and Kansas, and Cincinnati had just, I think, beat Arizona State. That game closed at 7. Iowa State won by 17. However, we know that game was closer than 17. Iowa State needed a couple late ones to kind of push that out of contention. Brett Eskelson had a big day, a couple big third down conversions. I like that. I mean, in Cincinnati, I'll say 4.5, 5. I'll say 4.5, 5, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we'll know. That's a team we'll know a lot about.
Also, did you know this? The Big 12 made this announcement probably 3 weeks ago. They're integrating WWE situations into the Big 12 home football schedule. There's a WWE event in Cincinnati Friday night before that game.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm not a WWE guy really at all.
I'm not either. But
they're also doing it in Ireland. I think there's four events this year, and Iowa State's involved with 2 of them.
And R.I.P. Hulk.
Yeah, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Ooh.
This one's up in the air. You could tell me that this spread's going to be 7, or you could tell me that Colorado is going to be favored by 4.
Yep.
Like, they have so much turnover,
including their coach, maybe.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's true. Hopefully not, but
I'm going to do the cop-out, Jake. I'm taking a pick 'em here.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Is that fair?
You
can argue with me, but
no,
it's a hard place to. It is a hard place to play. Like the oxygen, the altitude oxygen thing is a real deal. It's a real deal. Talk to a former player.
Oh, I bet Campbell's been thinking about that for a year.
Yes.
I'm a Nuggets fan. You don't have to tell me that.
Oh yeah. Sorry, just run them out.
One of the best advantages
it's true
in sports. I would probably lean 2 points to Iowa State, and a lot of that just comes down to I am not terribly high on Colorado. I think they did a lot to supplement what they lost, but they have not done a lot to supplement what they were already bad at.
Fair.
Like, I don't think their running game is going to be great.
Fair.
I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run great again either.
Fair.
So they bring in the Liberty, Caden Salter. They also bring in Juju Lewis, the 5-star quarterback. Are either of those guys going to be better than Shedeur right away? I don't think so. They bring in talent at receiver and corner. Are those guys going to be better than Travis Hunter, J.J. Horn? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Great point.
So
I don't know if they're better enough interior line-wise to make a difference.
Yeah, so I would probably lean Iowa State 2 or 3 points, but I don't think you can go wrong with the pick 'em in this spot, especially with the impending news that we could be waiting on.
Perfect. I think the theme of this, so we're now, that was game number 7.
Yep.
And, we're a little bit different than a year ago, and a lot of those games would have been 10 points or more.
Yeah, we pretty much the only one that we're certain of, we already said, well, that'll be double digits is Arizona if we're talking Big 12 games.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Other than that, BYU, I would probably put in that 7.5, 8 point range. I'm not high on them. I wasn't really high on them before the Retzloff news. I think there's a lot of one-score correction coming their way. And trust me, you could say that about Iowa State as well. 100%. But they had some weird wins last year. I respect them like no other, but they should have lost the Utah game. Glad they didn't. They blew out K-State in one of the weirdest, drunkest college football games of the year. I just think that this game could look a little bit more like 2023 than what we saw to them in the Alamo Bowl last year.
Yeah, I think the interesting part for them is they were the best defense in the Big 12 last year, Jake. A lot of people don't realize that, and returned most to that defense. So they're going to be some grinders. I don't love their offense either. L.J. Martin's a nice back, but they got, you're right, they got one-score games written all over them. And so, therefore, I'm going to play the feud. I'm putting that at 6.5.
6.5? Okay.
It's a one-score game in Ames.
Arizona State, back-to-back weeks of massive games at Jack Trice Stadium.
This game will be massive. There's no doubt in my mind.
So this would be, if we set it at Arizona State favored. The last time Iowa State would have been home dogs was probably Texas in 2023.
It was.
I don't even know how far you'd have to go back before that to see.
Well, I think Iowa was favored that same year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyway, the Ohio year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oklahoma State, I think, was maybe favored too, although that was probably pick 'em. But I think Iowa State might be a slight favorite here. I do.
I was in the 1.5 range either way.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's leave it there. I think we're 2 points either way. The this has pick'em / field goal written all over it. Arizona State, I believe, I've said it on here, is the most complete team entering the season. I'll put K-State and Iowa State in the same conversation. I believe they'll be a factor throughout. That's a hard road trip. It's a hard road trip for them. And, Arizona State's schedule, you can kind of look at it. They got some interesting road trips in there. They got to go to Mississippi State. They got to go to Baylor. They got to go to Utah, all before they even come to Ames. And then they play Tech before Iowa State as well. Like, we are going to know a lot more about Arizona State and everybody else by the time November 1st rolls around. I love this as a November game. I'll say Iowa State favored by 1.5.
I'll go 1.5 with you. I like
right.
this spot for Iowa
I
State
do
when
too.
you look at
I really
the
do.
schedule. So you said it. ASU will be playing at Utah, at home against Tech, at home against Houston, and then at Iowa State. 4 weeks in a row. Iowa State will have that bye before the BYU game,
Yes.
which I like because
love that.
Iowa State typically hasn't been great off of a bye anyway. So if you can be a little more rested,
And you're banged up.
play BYU, and then get Arizona State the second game off of a bye in November, probably a night game, probably the best atmosphere of the year.
Yeah, this could be it'll be two things. This will determine the Big 12 race in some capacity. Now, maybe not determine, but be a factor, an implication. I think you're good to have two top 15
Either
teams.
side.
I think you have two top 15 teams at this point at November 1.
And same thing in this next game. I'm high on TCU. I think this will be a top 25 matchup as well.
I'm with you.
I think you gotta favor TCU probably
I agree.
by 4.5. Something like that.
Let's do a little. Last time Iowa State played down in Fort Worth, it got ugly. Everybody,
Yeah, that game didn't happen.
it didn't really. So they
That defense deserved a day off. They did too much for that team in 22.
I love their opener. They go to North Carolina and Bill and Jordan Belichick there, and they get SMU as well at home. That's always a heck of a game.
SMU smoked them last year.
They did.
That was
They got to go.
embarrassing.
They got to go to K-State. They got to go to West Virginia. Again, it's BYU's one of those teams, or TCU will be one of those teams where, I could say on this day it'll be 4.5, 5 point TCU favored. Rewind to 2 years ago, Jake. We did this exact same endeavor. We said BYU against Iowa State around this exact same time frame was going to be favored by 7 to 10. Turned out BYU went in the absolute tank. And Iowa State ended up being favored by 11, I believe, out in Provo, and then ended up destroying those guys. So TCU, I'm not saying they're going to be the BYU from 23. That said, enough question marks here that we'll know more. But yeah, on first blush, I would say TCU here on July 27th to be a 4 to 6 point favorite.
Mark your calendars for Friday, September 26th. We're going to sit in Williams RV and watch Arizona State TCU on a Friday night, the night before the Arizona game.
Let's go.
I mean, is there a world?
You can experience RV life as well, man. Welcome to the non news life, my friend.
Is there a
Cheers to you.
world? I'm so excited. Is there a world where Sonny Dykes doesn't coach this game? If you look at their road games,
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah, I see what
Belichick,
you're saying.
ASU, K-State, West Virginia. I think West Virginia is not a basement dweller. I think they're one tier above that, and Morgantown's weird.
Morgantown is definitely
I don't
weird.
know. I think TCU's going to be good.
That's a
and
fair question.
That could play against Sonny Dykes if they're not good. If they're just like last season, ugh.
Yeah. I'm putting 3 coaches on November you got to go alert. That's my new alert. That is Dave Aranda at Baylor, Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State, and Sonny Dykes at TCU. That said, I think Dykes and Aranda both could also win 10 games this year. This is the crazy part about this conference. However, those donor bases are not going to be content if you're
Exactly.
going back the other way. And everybody still wants to get a head start. We've seen this. This is a theme in college athletics now. You want to beat everybody else to the punch of talking to an agent to hire your next coach. So absolutely, Jake, great point. If TCU is somehow at this point 4-6 or whatever they are, there is a world where Sonny Dykes is not the coach. But there's also a world they could be 8-2 and leading the Big 12.
The problem for a guy like Sonny or our pal Dave is the donor base does not see, oh yeah, the Big 12 is deep. You could be 4 plays away from 8-2 or 4-6. They see we should be 8-2, and there's a lot of money floating around down there in Central Texas.
Yeah, TCU does not have a long leash.
Central Dallas. Derek Duke will kill me if I just referred to Fort Worth as Central Texas.
Oh, so okay, because it's north. Would it be North Texas?
Yeah, North Texas.
Okay.
Central Dallas metropolitan.
I mean, we gotta keep Duke happy. Number one rule: keep Duke happy.
Guy's scary. That guy is scary. You don't want to mess with the Duke.
Nope, I do not.
All right, 2 games left. Kansas. Man, this game terrifies me like no other.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Continue. I have some thoughts.
It all just has to do with Kansas and how they have played Iowa State the last 3 years.
They've picked apart Iowa State 100%.
That game in 23, just man, that was a masterclass.
Okay, it was, and but I think there's some revisionist history here that I'd like to correct.
2022 was not an offensive masterclass.
It was not, and so thank you. So you brought up exactly where I was going. 2022, the quarterback for Kansas that day was Daniels. 2023, it was actually Jason Bean.
Jason Bean,
yeah. So it wasn't. Now Daniels tore Iowa State, like ripped them to shreds. Iowa State was on backups that day. Dom Orange didn't play. It was a bad day.
didn't play.
Verdon didn't play. It was a bad.
Tyshawn James pretty much was playing his first snaps as a Cyclone.
It was bad. It was bad. We all agree. Bad. I think Leipold is a genius. Don't get me wrong. But I think we can get wrapped up in the old Kansas has beaten Iowa State 3 times in a row stuff and not realize that wasn't always Daniels. Now, he technically was a starter in 2 of those. I get you. But Bean played really well in Ames. I think this is right at that, just like TCU the week before, 2 weeks before. This is 4.5 or 5 for Iowa State.
Yep. I was just about to say 4.5.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the cop-out.
It is.
It might even be the next one, too. We shouldn't even pick the next one. This could be Gundy and Campbell's. This could be Gundy's last game. He could be having the Paul Rhodes.
Let's say the Paul
already
Rhodes
been
hard hat.
fired,
Yeah,
and they're just
the
going to
hard
let
hat
him coach the last game.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
I would not want any piece of of an already fired Mike Gundy.
Man, what would they run? They would throw the Stillwater sink at you there. Yeah, I like it 4.5, 5 for Iowa State here as well. Cop out, but I do. But this is another one of those games. It's like I don't really know where this is going to go. And is that a Saturday of Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, Gundy has no idea where it's going to go.
Well, and man, you're talking about Stillwater in late November. Like it could be 65 and sunny and beautiful. There could be ice storms. Like you don't know. Like there could be a lot of stuff going on with that game.
Yeah. So when you just look at that schedule up and down, and we'll have Aiden make a graphic. There's a lot more uncertainty in the W&L column than there is last year.
So we have Iowa State on the surface here on July 27th, favored against. Okay, we're keeping track here.
Yep.
South Dakota, Iowa, barely. Arkansas State, Arizona, at Cincinnati. We're going to put Colorado as a pick-em just to be nice. BYU. We'll put Arizona State at a pick-em. Underdog to TCU. Favored against Kansas and Oklahoma State, but within 1 possession. Is that fair?
Yep. And we've only got 2 conference games outside of 1 possession either
There you
way.
go. There's the theme of the show right there.
That is Arizona and BYU. And we're a little different on BYU. So
yes.
BYU's probably right around a touchdown.
I think it's right around a touchdown.
Whereas last year, UCF, Texas Tech, not Cincinnati. There was another game that was...
Yeah, 10 or more points.
I think Kansas was too. I think
Kansas.
That was Kansas was favored, right?
Kansas ended up favored that game with the injury situation. But yeah, if you look back at Iowa State ended up being Just let me go roll down here real quick. Iowa State ended up being favored by 6 or more. I think against Utah as well, by the way.
Yeah.
West Virginia was 3.5. Again, UCF, Baylor ended up at 11.5. Houston was 13.5 when it closed. So a little bit different flavor before the season than a year ago. And again, a lot of this will be dictated by what happens the previous weeks. We get that. But I think what the conclusion here is this conference is all really, really jumbled. And just like a year ago, you can't be confident one way or another. I think Iowa State's going to be in all these games. Did a great job of closing those games out. Can Rocco have the same magic? Because you might need it.
Man.
What does Chris Williams
That's a schedule.
think?
Yeah, well, let's see what C-Dub thinks. I have not watched this.
I haven't either. This is on the fly, everybody.
Downloaded it. As soon as he sent it, he could be 15 names loggers in. He could be none.
30.
So let's see what C-Dub.
We don't know.
Let's see what C-Dub thinks about Iowa State's 2025 schedule and projected point spreads.
All right, guys. I hope the audio's okay. I'm at Sergio's to Lake of the Ozarks, getting ready for the season. I hear Blum and Brend are doing point spreads, so I wanted to run through these in like 2 minutes. Hit the music. All right. Iowa State, Kansas State, we all know what it is, 3.5, up to 5. South Dakota at Iowa State, week 2. Iowa State minus 14. Iowa at Iowa State, September 6, 11 a.m. Iowa State minus 1.5. Iowa State at Arkansas State, September the 13th. We'll go Cyclones minus 8.5 in that game. Arizona at Iowa State on the 27th. The Cyclones will be a comfortable 13.5 point favorite in that one. Then Iowa State goes to Cincinnati on the 4th of October, in which they will be a 4.5 point favorite over the Bearcats. Iowa State goes to Colorado on the 11th of October. Iowa State minus 2.5. BYU comes to town on October the 25th. Iowa State is a 7.5 point favorite. Arizona State at Iowa State on November the 1st. Arizona State is favored in this game by 5.5. Then the Cyclones go to TCU on October 8th. Point spread there, TCU minus 4.5. Kansas, a team that terrifies me, comes to Ames on November the 22nd, in which the Cyclones will be a 3.5 point favorite. It's going to be a tough line. Iowa State at Oklahoma State on the 29th to tap things off. The Cyclones will be favored by 9.5. There you go, the official point spreads for the Iowa State football season.
Very interesting. There was 3 in a row right there where we were dead on the same number.
We were, and then sometimes
Cincy, Colorado, BYU.
Yeah, that was all good.
Same.
C-Dub off in the wilderness on a couple of those, but that's happened.
ASU was a miss by one of us by 6.5 points.
I think he's wrong on that, but
he also gave Iowa State 5 more points in Stillwater.
Yeah, I'll take it. By the way, I hope that Cerveza he was having was great. I could hear that background music.
It was. The background music was conflicting with Yakky Sax.
It was. But it's like, is this polka? No, it's definitely a Mexican restaurant there. Good for him.
Well, this is fun.
We were mostly on the same page there, Jake. Mostly on the same page. I think you and I, not like the school, but you and I, very similar, which makes you feel good. Chris going to have his own one-offs. Could be right. This is what Williams does, though. Could be right. Could be way wrong. We know that with Williams.
We're also
5 years into
sober.
That too. That was fun, though. I think this will be... Man, we're 3 weeks away. I don't know. I get to this time of year, I'm like, let's figure it out. It's been a long summer.
I just want to go to sleep and wake up and have the State Fair over.
Yeah,
with all due respect to our friends at the State Fair.
I love the State Fair too.
Once the State Fair's over, though, we're like
let's
there.
go. We're football.
There's no more
football
counting down to football. We are at football.
Yes, I can't wait to be in Dublin. Put my green on. Go to Cyclone Fanatic. Get your green shirt.
Please buy your shirts.
And good job, Jay. You're okay. I mean, I said this online. There's a rumor that Chris Williams might be Wally Pipp, and you're Lou Gehrig. But I mean, people are saying, some are saying that.
Well, I haven't missed a day yet, so
You're right.
maybe
I
don't know about my batting average. I don't know how much I'm slugging the ball, but
it's your first
availability is the best.
Hey, buddy, it's your first hour and 10-minute podcast. Welcome to the family here. Sometimes it just goes long.
Hopefully, the first of many. I know
Yes.
I've said that a lot so
Yes.
far, but
Love it. Awesome.
hopefully
awesome
we've
job.
got an hour and 10 podcast following Farmageddon.
Give us your feedback. What will you put your point spreads at? Again, like, subscribe on YouTube, but then also get on the forums and tell us how we're wrong. Or mainly, actually, let C-Dub know how wrong he is and how right Jake and I were, because we were pretty close.
Yeah, that'll make us feel good.
Really good.
Well, thank you for supporting. Thanks to Mechdyne, more importantly, for supporting us. Go support Mechdyne and all of our great sponsors. Go and get those CF in Ireland shirts, and also go convert your dollars to euros before it's too late at Northwest Bank. Thanks for tuning into Williams and Blum on a Sunday.